Keek on the mic, keek on the mic, keek on the mic, keek on the mic. People, this the intro. Sacramento, California, born and raised. And Antelope is where I spend most of my days. Talk bad about my team, you must be a clown. This is Keek on the mic, so you know you better bear down. Bear down.
Hey, what's going on, Bears fans? Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Keek on the Mic, the podcast all about the Chicago Bears. Like always, if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the bell notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. Make sure you also follow me on all my social media platforms to stay connected with all Keek on the Mic news. So I have a really interesting topic for you guys today on the podcast, Bears fans, as ever since the Chicago Bears have secured the #1 overall pick in the 2023 NFL draft, there has been much speculation on what the Chicago Bears and Ryan Poles will actually do with the #1 overall pick. And it's been a lot of fun kind of discussing and trying to figure out what he will actually do with the pick. Will they stay put and draft Will Anderson Jr. or Jalen Carter, which in my opinion are the two best players available? Or the more popular option amongst Bears fans, including myself, trading back and stockpiling picks and still being able to land one of the two, which I mean Will Anderson Jr. or Jalen Carter. All in all, the Chicago Bears hold the golden ticket and hold all the cards in this year's NFL draft. When you look at the NFL draft and as it pertains to Chicago Bears and the #1 pick, rumors and reports are going to start flying everywhere as it pertains to Ryan Poles and what he will actually do with the #1 overall pick. And these reports and rumors have already started to begin. As according to Houston Texans reporter John McClain, he thinks the Colts and Texans will be in a bidding war for the #1 overall pick. While on NBC Sports Chicago, Football Night in Chicago, John McClain had this to say in regards to either the Texans or Colts trading up for the #1 overall pick. The Bears are going to get the Texans and the Colts, two AFC South rivals, bidding to move up to the first pick to get the quarterback they want. McClain also added these words by saying this. Check this out, Bears fans.
I think it's the best thing that could happen to the Bears, and the Bears, of course, owe Lovie Smith big time for having the first overall pick. The Bears need Jalen Carter or Will Anderson Jr., the two best prospects. They're higher rated than the quarterbacks, and they could get one at the top of the first round. They don't want to go lower than the Colts at 4 because you assume two quarterbacks are going to be gone. That would leave one for them. And Caserio's got 11 picks, 2 #1s. He's got 2 #1s in 2024, and he's got 10 picks, so he can afford to make that move. They're not going to get as much from the Texans to swap one spot as they would from the Colts to swap 4.
So that answers my next question a little bit, but let's reframe. How much does it up the ante, the significance of that division rival wanting a quarterback when the Texans pick second and the Colts do sit 4th in the draft?
If it was a team from the NFC South, it wouldn't be that big of a deal. But when you play the Colts twice a year and the Colts play the Texans twice a year, and it's assuming they want the same quarterback. One may like Bryce Young, one may like C.J. Stroud or Will Levis. The fact is, Nick Caserio has got to convince people by leaking that he wants the quarterback he doesn't want. And in a perfect world, both teams will get the quarterback they want, and the Bears will get the defensive lineman they covet.
So that said, you're as plugged in as anybody, John. What do you think happens with those top 4 picks in the draft? Let's go. Bears, Texans, Cardinals, and Colts all in that scenario.
I think the Bears are going to trade down, and they're going to get Will Anderson Jr. or Jalen Carter, the one that Arizona does not take. I think the Texans are going to get Bryce Young or C.J. Stroud, and the other one's going to go to the Colts.
This is great news, Bears fans. This is exactly what Ryan Poles and what us as fans wanted to hear. Bidding war between the #2 overall pick and the #4 overall pick. If Ryan Poles can pull this off by double trading down from 1 to 2 and then from 2 to 4 and to be able to stockpile draft picks not only for this year's draft and next year's draft and still be able to land either Will Anderson Jr. or Jalen Carter, that would be absolutely ideal for the Chicago Bears and Ryan Poles. And I feel like a lot of Chicago Bears fans would agree with this move. This is what a lot of Chicago Bears fans want. They want to see the Chicago Bears try to double trade down, right? Trading down from 1 to 2, stockpiling picks, and trading down from 2 to 4, and also gain more picks and still being able to land Will Anderson Jr. or Jalen Carter, which obviously that would be an ideal situation for the Chicago Bears. In a perfect world, That's exactly what the Bears fans and Ryan Poles would want to happen. Do I think it can happen? Possibly. I'm not too confident in that scenario happening, but in a perfect world, that's exactly what I think Ryan Poles would want to do. When I look at the NFL draft, though, I can possibly see the Bears having an option between the Colts and Texans offer, meaning not double trading down, but either having to choose between the Colts and the Texans offer. The unfortunate part about this is that if you choose to go with the Texans offer, if they are in a bidding war and you choose to go with the Texans offer, I feel like you may get a little bit less just depending on how fierce the bidding war is, just because the Texans will only have to trade up one spot from 2 to 1. But when you do look at the Houston Texans do have 2 first-round picks in 2023 and 2024. So they definitely have more ammo than Indianapolis Colts in terms of maybe enticing the Bears a little bit more. I'm not sitting here saying that we're going to get multiple firsts for trading back one spot. I'm just saying that the Houston Texans have a whole lot of draft capital. Like I mentioned, they have 2 firsts in 2023, 2 firsts in 2024, and I believe they have 10 total picks in both this year's and next year's draft. So if Nick Caserio, GM of the Houston Texans, really wants to trade up for the quarterback they want and be able to prevent the Indianapolis Colts from trading up with the Chicago Bears to land the #1 overall pick, they have all the ammo in the world to do so. Once again, I feel like if we do trade back one spot, we will get less. That's why, to me, if Ryan Poles had to choose between the Colts and the Texans, I feel like the Colts will come with the more aggressive offer because they realize they have to offer more to jump the Houston Texans. So I truly feel that Ryan Poles would choose the Indianapolis Colts offer because I feel like at the end of the day, the Colts will offer us more because they are going to have to if they want to prevent the Houston Texans getting the quarterback that they may want. But overall, this is going to be a really interesting thing to kind of just keep a close eye on as we get closer to the NFL draft. This will enhance once the NFL Combine is done, once the pro days are done. So basically, if CJ Stroud, Bryce Young, Will Levis go out there and just absolutely tear it up in the pro days, NFL Combine, their player interviews, all that good stuff, this will enhance. The Ryan Poles will have the Texans and the Colts right where he wants them. I do believe John McClain, he's a longtime insider for the Houston Texans, so he knows what he's talking about. So this is definitely going to be something that we can keep a close eye on. It feels good to have all the cards in the golden ticket of the NFL draft. And at the end of the day, I feel like Ryan Poles and the Chicago Bears are going to cash in big time on stockpiling picks for this year's draft and next year's draft, and we'll still be able to land the player we want in Will Anderson Jr. or Jalen Carter. So I'm excited to see what happens and see how all of this unfolds. Before I let you guys go, let me ask you guys this. Who would you trade with if you were Ryan Poles and the Chicago Bears? Would you take less from the Houston Texans and trade back one spot, or would you want more and trade back with the Indianapolis Colts and you're still going to get the player you want in either scenario? Let me know down below in the comment section. Before I let you guys go, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. Make sure you follow me on all my social media platforms, and make sure you share this episode of Geek on the Mic with every single Bears fan that you know. But other than that, be back for all new Bears podcast right here on Geek on the Mic. Thanks, guys, and bear down.
You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't kick on the mic. You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't